Tonight at 6 on Alaska's news source, roadless rule controversy. The president renews his intent to remove the restrictions.
And a blank signature regarding the Denali name change resolution. How the governor's bold move is making waves.
Dozens of wildfires continue to rage across the state. What a newly announced increase in preparedness means for you and your family as we review evacuation updates.
And Mother Nature bringing some relief to the fire danger. I'll let you know when and where we'll see rain this week.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
And now at 6, we continue to follow a developing story as wildfire preparedness levels continue to rise across the state. We are now in a level 4 out of 5 as nearly 200 fires burn, torching thousands of acres. These are just some of the scenes seen in the interior and surrounding areas. And here's a look at the Fairbanks North Star Borough's evacuation map. All areas in green are ready status, yellow areas are in set, and red areas are in go status, meaning leave now. Our website has the latest developments with daily updates on Alaska's wildfire season. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm John Thompson.
And I'm Augusta McDonald. We've got Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry standing by with the outlook on these fires, but we're going to start with Alex Bengal on the latest on how these fires are impacting the interior.
Smoke has once again settled in the Fairbanks North Star Borough as the area faces wildfires both north and south. The Elliott Highway behind me has reopened to traffic, but the Himalaya Road fire nearby has grown to 3,300 acres. The fire has prompted the borough to order the evacuation of just over 200 people from the area as of Monday morning. A series of fires to the south, Bonanza Creek, Goldstream Creek, and Bear Creek, taking up more than 30,000 acres between them. The borough has opened up an animal shelter for the pets of those who need to evacuate and set up a hotline for evacuees to get a hotel voucher, but no shelter yet. Borough Mayor Greyer Hopkins praising fire crews for their efforts.
We had 6 structures where the fire was coming right up to them at the Himalaya Road fire, and we had state forestry working to clear brush to make sure that there was no opportunities for fuel to get close to the house and light it on fire. My understanding is they got right up to the very edge of the house, but the firefighters had cleared enough, and even if they can't see, even 20 feet, with all the smoke, they were out there doing the work that saved those houses before the fires could burn them down. It was real miracle work from people who were putting in long, long hours.
And with cooler weather and rain already being seen in the area, with more expected this week, there is hope the interior gets a break from the heavy smoke. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
And we are thankful to all of those firefighters on the ground, just getting word that another crew from Georgia is on the way to help that firefighting effort for tomorrow. I want to show you these fires on the ground. Again, looking at the statewide map, a huge footprint, a large area of the state covered in fire again as we have over 200,000 acres burning. Taking down to the Bear Creek fire, that's the one that's burning right there along the Parks Highway. You can see extending both to the left and right of the highway, right along the river system there. One of the larger fires we're seeing burning in the area. Again, 210,000 acres burned so far this season. Again, that number was just a couple thousand last week. We're now up to 190 active fires burning in the state, 13 of those new in the past 24 hours. And again, 24 of them are either severe enough or close enough into threatening communities that they are currently staffed with crews working on those suppression efforts. We do have some rain in the area, as Alex mentioned, but we also have some lightning still ongoing. Just in the last couple of hours, we've seen about 50 strikes here in this area. Again, some heavy rain just south of Fairbanks, so that's good. But you notice how it's scattered. Again, pretty isolated areas seeing these pockets of heavy rain. It is unfortunately not a widespread heavy rain that we're seeing, but the higher relative humidities, the lower temperatures that we're seeing definitely will help those firefighters on the ground. You can see that cloud cover in Fairbanks, even some wet roads there today as temperatures drop from the 80s back to the 60s, mid-50s. With those showers from Anchorage all the way into Palmer tonight and some light rain pushing into Ketchikan as well. Temperatures there in the mid-50s. So looking at those expected rainfall totals over the next 24 to 48 hours, again, coastal areas of south central southeast, we will see significant areas of rain there. Into the interior, those pockets that see those heavier showers will get some heavier rain. Otherwise, we're talking just a few hundredths of an inch of rain at best. High temperatures tomorrow right about where we saw today, low 60s in Anchorage, upper 60s in the interior. Juneau right at 60. 60, as will be Bethel at 60 degrees. Mostly cloudy, just a little light rain for you as well. This rain doesn't stick around all week. In fact, changes at the end of the week, and all those details here in a few minutes.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much. And remember, you can stay on top of any weather updates or alerts concerning these wildfires with the Alaska News Source weather app. You can get information sent straight to your phone to help keep your family safe.
Well, controversy that includes harvesting timber in the Tongass National Forest is back in the spotlight after Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins announced that the Trump administration's intent to remove what's called the roadless rule. Justin Mattson joins us in the newsroom with reaction from Alaskans and more details on the rule. Justin.
That's right. The more than 2-decade-old rule protecting millions of acres in the Tongass National Forest was put in place in 2001 under former President Bill Clinton, and it has been highly litigated across the country. President Donald Trump targeted the roadless rule's impact to Alaska during his first administration. Secretary Rollins says the president is making good on executive order language he signed back in January. A staff attorney with the Center of Biological Diversity thinks all sorts of harm will come from the rule being eliminated.
So this is not a time to be logging our mature and old growth intact forests, which are doing so much to mitigate those effects of climate change because
Others disagree. Members of Alaska's elected representatives have been weighing in on the announcement. Senator Dan Sullivan saying in part, quote, "I am grateful that the Trump administration has once again rescinded this rule to put Alaskans back in the driver's seat to make a living, support our families, and connect our communities while protecting our lands and growing our economy." Now, this decision will likely face legal challenges from environmental organizations. We have an extended version of Senator Sullivan's statement and more details on the rule on our website and mobile app. Justin Mattson, Alaska's News Source.
Well, President Donald Trump's executive order changing Denali's name remains a heated debate. Now more than 4 months after the legislature passed a resolution telling the Trump administration to bring Denali's name back, Alaska's News Source has now confirmed that Governor Mike Dunleavy has not signed it. A resolution is a way for lawmakers to put their opinion on paper and in this case send it to the White House. But Fairbanks Representative Maxine Dibert, who sponsored the idea, says that's not possible without the governor doing something. Now, Governor Dunleavy's spokesperson told Alaska's News Source Thursday that the governor's signature is not necessary. But Dibert says that without the governor doing anything, including refusing to sign it, the lieutenant governor's office cannot receive it. And that's important because lawmakers say the lieutenant governor is the one who sends it, the resolution, to President Trump, Vice President Vance, the Interior Secretary, and Alaska's congressional delegation.
I just assumed that as soon as the legislature passed it, that it would just happen. But I guess it's sitting on the governor's desk, and there's some certain there's a checkoff list that the governor has to do for this message to get sent to the appropriate people, which is like the President of the United States. Pretty big deal.
Well, the governor told Alaska's News Source earlier this year that he looked forward to discussing the issue with President Trump. While the governor's spokesperson did confirm Governor Dunleavy was in D.C. last week, she would only say that the governor was there to discuss state business.
And still ahead, getting to the bottom of a door plug blowout on board an Alaska Air flight in midair. How the NTSB will decide on a probable cause as soon as tomorrow.
A reported ceasefire has been reached after traded military attacks involving the U.S. and Iran in the Middle East. How it's affecting us here in Alaska and how some of our lawmakers are responding.
You're watching Alaska's News Source.
Well, tonight, President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran has been reached and hopes that it can become permanent.
A White House official says Israel reportedly agreed on the condition that Iran stops attacking their country. The White House says the decision was reached after U.S. strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities over the weekend. Iran launched an attack targeting a large U.S. airbase in Qatar, but the missiles were intercepted. No deaths or injuries were reported.
President Trump has been clear that he is not afraid to hold Iran accountable for any retaliation, and Iran risks going down a dangerous road with these attacks.
The Senate Majority Leader says he's hopeful Iranians will continue the ceasefire and lay out which measures they're taking to do so. And the president's decision to take action against Iran has been met with mixed reaction. Some think it will lead to a cycle of violence involving the U.S. and, worst case scenario, a large-scale war in the Middle East. Some also think Trump did not go through proper processes to launch that attack in Iran. Meantime, some support his decisions, like Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan.
You know, this is all about reestablishing deterrence when it comes to Iran. Iran has, in essence, been at war with our country for decades. They have wounded and killed literally thousands of American service members over the last several years. And during the first term of the Trump administration, we reestablished deterrence with the president's strong actions against Iran. During the Biden years, it was all about appeasement, lost that deterrence.
Sullivan also reiterated that a large part of U.S. missile defense is based in Alaska. He promises to go further into detail in an interview tomorrow.
Well, following the attacks in the Middle East, oil prices have been plunging. The market generally expressed relief after Iran's attack toward the U.S., saying it was more symbolic than actually feared.
Oil prices dropped today after Iranian missiles launched toward Qatar were intercepted. The more than 7% drop represents the biggest one-day decline since early April. The steep sell-off wiped out an initial spike Sunday night that was driven by concerns Iran could target energy infrastructure in the Middle East. And here's a look at the impact on oil in Alaska as of Friday. The Alaska North Slope is sitting at $79.77, which is a change of 10 cents.
Well, tomorrow, the National Transportation Safety Board will determine the probable cause of the mid-air door plug blowout on an Alaska airplane.
The model was a Boeing 737 MAX in 2024. The blowout left a gaping hole in the side of the plane while it was more than 16,000 feet in the air. The missing piece from the plane was found in a backyard in Oregon. Luckily, no one was sitting next to the hole when the blowout happened. The NTSB will hear the investigation's findings, then vote on the probable cause of this incident.
And keep in mind, you can watch any of our broadcasts on our streaming platforms when it's convenient for you. Go to alaskasnewssource.com. At the very top left, click on streaming, and that's all the information you need for the streaming app that you choose.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.